Dear viewers, I'm back with another personality with my channel. My name is Neha. I'm your host with Gurukul of Civil Engineers. And right now I have been in discussion with Mr. Sumit Kar. He is a renowned civil engineer. He has 27 years of experience. Currently, he is working as Senior Associate Director with Jacobs UK. His experience comprises of highway design and project management. And he has an international experience and worked with various locations like Mauritius, Malaysia, India, UK, Ireland, and South Africa and Netherlands too. So, hello, Mr. Kar, how are you?
Yes, fine. Thank you, Neha.
Yeah. So, you have completed your education from Jadavpur University in engineering into civil engineering, and then you
That's
have
right.
done your master's with BITS Pilani. So, can
Correct.
you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your journey, your background, your schooling?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Starting back from my school, my father was a railway employee. So most of the time I spent in Kharagpur, which is a kind of a city close to Kolkata in India.
Right.
And my whole schooling was basically from there. My father was a civil engineer as well. He was a railway engineer. So since my childhood, I was really very much attracted with the engineering and wanted to become civil engineer. To be honest, be frank.
Right.
So I obviously then after schooling got the opportunity to do civil engineering from Jadavpur University. Joined there in 1989 and graduated in 1993.
Right.
Straight after graduation through campus, I got selected to one of the kind of a prime organization in civil engineering consultancy over in India, which was called Consulting Engineering Services at that time, and then moved to Delhi for starting my career actually. And since that time, basically, I have been working in different projects, major projects, highways mainly, and project management, as you said. In between 1997, while working with consulting engineering services, I got opportunity to carry on my career, academically, skill improvement by adding another degree, which is Masters of Civil Science in Project Management, 1997. So, yeah, as you said, civil engineering and then
So,
Masters.
in between, from your childhood, you have decided you would be a civil engineer. So, no
Yeah,
other streams comes in your mind, like because IT or computer engineering or mechanical, nothing.
not really. I was very much focused on civil engineering, because of my father, and there was also another distant uncle, who was very close to our family.
Right.
And looking into both of them, I kind of decided that civil engineering probably what I would like to do.
So, you have spent your almost 10 years in India. So, have you been associated with the same company or you have changed your company also there?
Mostly with consulting engineering services most of the time, and then very small kind of duration with Stoop consulting engineers in India. Yeah.
So, Mr. Kar, were you always a good student in your schooling, your engineering, then MS?
Yeah, I mean, I was a bit lucky in that respect. I would say yes. Wherever I studied, I did very well, and really feeling proud of that.
Right.
And got through the opportunities, one after another, and that's kind of brings me where I am today.
That altogether it cannot be luck. It's a hard work which you have given.
Yeah, can say so. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I
So,
don't mind the work.
right. So, for you, what will you say about your major accomplishment in this all 27 years?
Uh, mm, uh, I mean, to be honest, I wanted to associate myself with major big projects, capital investment project. So, in terms of achievements, if you ask me, I have been involved in quite big highway projects in Ireland. In when I worked in Ireland,
Yeah.
really big projects of 600, 700 million euro capital investment projects,
Yeah.
design and build, and private public partnership kind of projects, uh, mm, and delivered them very successfully, as a consultant, as a designer, which I guess is one of the biggest achievement in my career.
Right.
And
And uh, if if you have accomplishment, there must be some struggles, there must be some hardship. So how did you deal with that?
yeah, I mean, hardship wise, yes. Obviously, you can imagine, I studied in West Bengal, straight in India, then moved to Delhi,
Yeah.
and then from Delhi, stayed almost 10 years in Delhi. Obviously, moved around in other countries, working purpose. But then, absolutely leaving the country, moved to Ireland,
Yeah.
which was not always easy, when you have responsibility of your family. So that was quite challenging for me. And then from Ireland, stayed there almost 10 years, then went back to India again for a few years. And then where I'm back again into UK, where I am now. So moving countries two times, is really challenge, and I would say, yeah, that was quite tough. Sometime, living away from your family, living away from your
You
parents,
you
where
have
you
to
have.
start your career, your life again and again from scratch.
Yeah, yeah. To be honest, yes. To some extent, yes. But I wanted to do, good projects, work, and I was drive. I mean, by passion. So yeah, that kind
Yeah.
of helped me.
So for our viewers, I just want to quote is like sticking to a one location for a good project is not a right idea. So you have to explore your boundaries and you have to try new things in life.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there is a proverb in civil engineer, for civil engineers actually. The civil engineer goes to a place, I think, first to build the infrastructure, and then
Right.
rest of the engineer probably follow. So that way I put it.
Yes.
That
So,
yeah.
sir, you have started your career in highway designing, and did you always have in your initial days that you want to develop your career in highway designing side, or there must be some other streams also in civil engineering?
Still, there's lots of civil engineering is quite vast. Highways engineering just a tiny part of it. The way things happened, like I got selected through campus interview, and then that was when I was studying in Jadavpur University in Kolkata, and then moved to Delhi. The time I moved to Delhi, there was loads and loads of infrastructure and transportation projects was going on, and there was a big vacancy, in the transportation sector that time, overall in India as well as in the company consulting engineering services where I joined. So they kind of obviously they have taken few people, kind of students that time, after graduation from different universities, and they kind of re-interviewed them.
Mhm.
And in that interview, when I found out that the transportation is one of the industry which is kind of coming up very well, I immediately decided to take that opportunity.
Right.
Having said that, though, during my graduation, transportation was one of my favorite kind of subject as well. So it kind of matched. It was good timing. So I just grabbed it. And without transportation, worldwide, whatever different form of transportation, I think that's key for development.
Right. So for our new talents, new upcoming students who are entering into engineering and all. So how do you suggest one should identify their capabilities, and how they decide on the areas where they should focus on and what stream they should pick up within civil engineering?
I mean, with civil engineering, as I said, it's really vast.
Yes.
So it all depends, what their personal preference is, what they are good at, what they enjoy most. That should be the primary driver for somebody. I would suggest, when they select a particular stream within the civil engineering. However, I would say that whenever somebody is selecting something, they should also look into the industry. You can't predict the future, say 40, 50 years, but immediate future, what are the opportunities, where the investments worldwide is happening, where the issues and problems are. And then select the streams, like say transportation obviously will remain as a kind of a primary industry within civil engineering. And then on top, structural, geotechnical, environment currently these days, worldwide, there's loads and loads of opportunities within the environmental sector. So that's also part of, civil engineering.
Yeah. So do you suggest that if one have chosen one stream and worked over that stream and that particular area for long, they can switch their areas? Are there any courses available and any certifications available? You can shift from one area to a different area?
I would not suggest a radical kind of a shift unless there is a huge benefit or opportunity comes on the way. However, there are always related subjects within a particular stream, like say transportation. There are transportation is not only highways, traffic engineering, structural engineering, bridge construction, geotechnical engineering. So yeah, if people find that they wanted to move around, and have a feel of the overall, civil engineering in that particular sector, yeah, they can. But radical shift, say like from transportation to say water engineering, yeah, it's really vast change,
Not
So
recommended.
I would not recommend.
Definitely. So and what you suggest, like do you feel you have been working for a long time, do you feel there is a gap between the industry expectations and the student available in the market?
Different countries different. If I kind of consider, when I graduated, civil engineering was not very well recognized within the industry. That after graduation you immediately get a job. It was not that easy. However, during that time, say 90, mid 90 onward, civil engineering industry kind of overall, not only India but in other countries also globally, has increased a lot. So the demand, really grown. Whereas since it was not popular the time when I graduated, students were not very much taking civil engineering as their career. So demand and supply, there was a big gap during that time. And then that kind of ended up in such a problem, say beginning 2000, year 2000, in around that time. Obviously, things have picked up from there. And I'd say that the engineering, civil engineering demands is very good at the moment, and industry is kind of producing a lot of engineers, to supply that demand.
Yeah.
I'd say it's more or less balanced at this stage.
So viewers, my next question is, like, all of you would be very interested in that. So Mr. Kar, you worked 10 years in India. Then how did you decide to move to Ireland, and what are the things you have done to move here? I mean, did you search for the job, or done some education or certifications for that?
No, it was a job opportunity. So 10 years of India. Yes, I was working in an Indian company. That's correct, and I was living in India. However, I was kind of doing a lot of foreign projects for that Indian company. So I was quite considerable time in Ethiopia, in African country, working on a road project. In Mauritius, working on again urban road projects. So I was moving a lot, though I was my main station was based in India. So I mean, obviously was always interested to come this part of the world, in Europe, doing big projects. Europe is always known for civil engineering. Didn't have too much kind of intention or keenness to go to Middle East or to US or Australia. I always recognize kind of a UK or Europe as one of the hub for the engineering.
Yeah.
So got that opportunity and then just moved to Ireland in 2003.
Yeah. So what difference did you felt working in India and working in European company?
I mean, I yeah, there are definitely difference. There's certain things good in certain countries. However, it all is driven by what country's demand is,
Yeah.
what the expectation in a particular project from
Yeah.
a client. If you ask me a difference, very broadly, I would say that the things are much being dealt detailed in this part of the world compared to India. Delivering projects is much more details in these countries.
So then you have spent quite a good amount of time in Ireland. Then you decided to move back to India for some time. So what were the aspirations for that?
Right, that's a very interesting question. It was a really challenging move from India to Ireland. Stayed there nearly 10 years, slightly less than 10 years. The reason is that I would say that I was always very keen to deliver the project from the management perspective.
Yeah.
So though I started my career as a kind of a hardcore as engineer, but then moved away to project management. So within Ireland, I did a lot of big projects, but during the recession, the big projects were not coming as frequent as it was. And then suddenly I got an opportunity with a Netherlands-based company, and they wanted me to take over their head of highways division in India, which was really a kind of a very interesting kind of a role, where I see that I can really work very wide, with a lot of different variety of projects. And then that was basically the main drive, you can say, that why I moved to India.
Right. So did you feel any difference with the kind of working style when you were previously in India and after 10 years? Do the attitude of the people or the working environment has changed, or it's almost similar?
I mean, there was quite a lot of change, from initially when I worked, 1993 to 2003. There was a lot of technology and the process-driven kind of improvement already happened in India, when I went back in 2012. And the projects were much bigger, compared to what it was happening, previously. Lots of challenge, industry grown quite a lot. So I would not say it was same, but India, in that circumstances, it was a different challenge. Time was a challenge, money was a challenge. So that was definitely
Yeah. So then you decided to move to another European country, UK. Always interested in the European part of the country.
I mean, as I said, I always wanted to do work, in Europe.
Yeah.
Obviously, the way I moved to India, as I said, that was also a quite challenging and mm, respected kind of a role. But then, when I got this opportunity, I kind of, was in a dilemma, whether I should grab this opportunity or stay there. Both were equally good. I would not, say that anyone is bad, to be honest. But I just decided, to come back here. One of the reasons was my family. I wanted to give my son a kind of education, also in this part of the country. He kind of did his primary education in Ireland,
Yeah.
moved to India, back again here. So that was one of the another driver. I would say not only career, you have to look after your family as well.
Right.
So
Yeah.
what is best for you? So from that perspective, I selected this opportunity and moved back again.
So you are currently into project management side of uh, your career. So your role comprised of the company management side, the business aspects, the coordination, commercial thing. What are all the key areas you are focusing on?
Yeah, so as a project manager, that you have to look after really everything of a project.
Mm.
Uh, I mean, our companies I work for is a consultancy, so we don't do any construction. So it's all consultancy services, design, and
Yeah.
in that environment, whatever the team is involved in delivering the projects. Of course, it's a multidisciplinary team, so managing that team, coordination, dealing with client, and then, as you said, all the commercial aspects of the project, whether project pricing the project to delivery. Whether you are able to deliver within the budget, what kind of gross margin, profit margin you are making with the project, everything really.
Yeah.
That's
Kind
project
of
management.
economics, you are managing the economics and the finance also within
That's
that
it.
project area.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So,
As a project manager, that's the role.
yeah. So you have done any certifications also, any kind of license you are holding to work in this area, or how did you decide to the movement?
I mean, license means there are a few things I did in my career. One was a chartered in civil engineering, what I did in India first, and then also in Ireland and UK. So I'm chartered engineer, three different countries. On top, I have professional memberships with a number of agencies in this part of the world as well as back in India, which are, I think, you can say as a license, gives you that kind of a space where you can say that yes, I have achieved something, or I am authorized to
Work on the
deliver
particular area. Right.
project.
So,
Yeah.
do you suggest, Mr. Kar, that we need to keep on educating ourselves to upgrade our capabilities, our scenarios?
No doubt about it. No doubt. You have to always keep, connected with the recent developments of the market and the
Mhm.
industry. The continuous training and update is mandatory. Without that, you will feel that you are not at par with whatever things going on around you. You feel that you're behind. So, absolutely, yes.
So, as Mr. Kar have quoted, that you need to keep updated your skills, your area of interest, because there are number of things happening in this world. So, for that, you need to do certain kind of licensing. You need to do certifications and upgrade your skills accordingly. So, Mr. Kar, you have worked with different countries. And so, what do you think the key areas, like, do the soft skills or a personality plays a important role within?
No doubt about it. Neha, that's absolutely right. Academic qualification is definitely required. That's your base. Then as you go and grow in your career,
Yeah,
you have to you get the responsibilities, more responsibilities.
yeah,
You have to manage team, small teams to medium team to big team. So
yeah.
managing team with you is an interaction with people, and then
Mhm.
on top you are speaking with your clients, and that's an interaction. So soft skill is absolutely key. How you speak to people, how you convince people, how people trust you,
Yeah,
uh, and then the role, especially like project management sort of role, where there are lots of kind of issues you deal with. You have to be on top of the technical side, no doubt, but team is there to support you. But team look a kind of a leadership from you.
right,
So basically, to support the team as well as convince client, you need your soft skills.
right, right.
Absolutely.
So, in this all your journey, your dad was your inspiration when you have chosen civil engineering. In this entire journey, do you find any inspiration? Do you have any buddy you look up to you and say like that I wanted to be always?
Yes, I mean, he was a railway engineer. So within railway, he was kind of went to very
Yeah.
high level and managing big teams. One of the things I would also like to mention in this point of time, obviously, my father was my inspiration from my childhood. But then when I met my father-in-law, he was also a civil engineer in the road sector. So he
Mhm.
was a kind of a big inspiration as well for me, because he belonged to my industry actually.
Right.
So both father and father-in-law, looking back, I've learned loads and loads of things from them. Not only they were the inspiration, but whenever I kind of found myself, in a dilemma or any issues, I have been able to discuss with them. So that was the opportunity I always got in my life.
So, sir, for this, for a new talent who are in this industry, so what are your can you give any kind of suggestion to them how to develop their skills and how they can work in this industry?
I mean, one of the things in this point of time, when you ask this question, I would like to mention is that whatever the academic qualifications you achieve,
Yeah.
through your degree course, in your college or university, uh, that's definitely primary, no doubt about it.
Mm,
You have to perform very well
mm,
to achieve that degree. But then, at the same time, you have to look into the industry. What is the industry look like? What's the expectation of that industry?
mm-hmm.
That not always necessarily match with the academic, the teaching.
Yeah.
Uh, there is there are variations, yeah, theory, it's like a theory and practical. So if your college and university is a theory, then you have to learn the practical side of it, of application of that theory. So sooner you get an opportunity to learn that, the better for your career.
Right.
We all kind of gone through that process. And the only media, when I developed in the industry and grown in the industry, was your on the job training. So anything, you can learn that industry practices quickly will always help your career.
So, apart from work, Mr. Kar, do you pursue any hobbies, and how do you think it is important to pursue any hobbies for mental health?
Hobbies, yes, it is always important. People are living not only for professional career, family is also something they quite involved. But apart from that, your personal something your personal which you can enjoy outside your family time, outside your work time, is really important for your mental health, as you said. My hobby is photography. I like photography. Landscape photography is one of my hobby. So I take time off, whenever I find any opportunity, or even in my back garden when I see a good skyline, I definitely take some photographs. So that's my main hobby. Apart from that, I love traveling. So geographical and historical interest places are my kind of interest. Uh, Whenever I get an opportunity, I try to, enjoy
Right.
travel.
Right. So, Mr. Kerr, at the end, how is the family type time is important? How we should always balance our professional and your family time?
No doubt about it. Yeah, you absolutely correct. Uh, so I would suggest that profession is profession. You have to be honest in your profession. You have to really spend time. You have to be dedicated with your profession. But that doesn't mean that 24 hours you only get involved with your profession.
Yeah.
So you spend time with your family. That then recharge back for the next day to
Right.
invest and 100% in
Give
your
you 100%.
profession.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So that
Right.
balance is always important.
Thank you, Mr. Kerr. It was nice talking to you. You have given us uh, so much details about your profile and how do you pursue your career and what are the accomplishments and all these things to our viewers. It was nice talking to you, sir. And this is you can subscribe to our channel for Gurukul of Civil Engineers, and you can go to our website gcelab.com. In conversation with Mr. Kar, thank you, sir. You have given lots of insight for our viewers, and this will be definitely helpful for us. Thank you.
It's a real pleasure, Neha, and
Thank you, sir.
thank you inviting me.
So we'll be back next with a different personality with the same industry or a different industry or a different stream. So stay tuned to us, subscribe our channel. Thank you.
Thank you.